Hey guys, so in today's video I picked up this 2016 Mercury Pro Kicker command thrust version. This motor's got electric start and power tilts, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, this motor is locked up, but what we're going to do is look into the cylinder with the camera and just see what's going on in there, and hopefully this motor can be saved. If you guys have been enjoying the videos, please drop a like down below and comment, and please subscribe so you don't miss any further content in the future. Without that being said, let's jump right into this video and let's see what this 99 Pro Kicker is all about. So first thing we're going to do is remove the spark plugs, of course, and then we'll just see what's going on in the cylinders. Now, the first thing I noticed when I removed the spark plugs was there was a bunch of oil on the spark plug tip. And when I did this, usually if there was water in the cylinder, it would fall onto your hand. So I definitely knew it wasn't water in the cylinders. And same thing for the second plug, even more oil. You can actually see a little bit in between the gap of the spark plug. But same thing on this one, no water in it. No, it's definitely oil. So I go in with the camera and I'm looking around. And once I turn the camera, I can see that the cylinder is filled with oil. Now, on these specific motors, if you leave them laying on the opposite side, so not the tiller side, but if you leave it laying on the other side, the oil from the oil pan can actually leak into the cylinders and even go into the carburetors. And sometimes they'll make you think that it's locked up, and it's really not. So I was actually able to crank it over, which before I wasn't able to, and the power tilt does work on this, and the electric start works on it, so that's another plus. But what I'm going to do now is just get both cylinders to the top dead center. What this does is it has both valves completely closed, and so I'm able to actually get the oils to come out with some compressed air. You can actually see in the bottom cylinder how much is coming out, and after that, I'm actually able to do a compression test and see what the compression is with an accurate reading. So I had about 120, 125 in this cylinder. It's just about the same for this cylinder, about 120, 125. We also have solid spark in each cylinder as well. Next thing we're going to do is go to the fuel system by removing this carburetor. Best thing to do is remove this oil dipstick to make it a little bit easier. Then you just pop off the choke linkage by pushing off that tab and laying the rod lay down here. Then use a little screwdriver and remove the throttle. You just lift up on the throttle and the throttle rod will lay down like this. After that, just remove this hose from the intake, as well as the fuel line going into the carburetor, and then just use a 10 mil and remove these two bolts on each side. Hold the whole carburetor together, it makes it a little bit easier. Then remove the air box. After that, you can remove this little hose that's just hanging down, and then the carburetor is off. Now we can rebuild the carburetor. I am going to have a YouTube short on the full rebuild on this, so drop a like down below if you want to see that. Otherwise, I'm going to jump right through this really quick and rebuild it. So after disassembling the carburetor and sticking an ultrasonic cleaner and blowing out all the jets and cleaning the carburetor, we're just going to rebuild the carb now. Now we have a fully rebuilt carburetor. What we're going to do now is stick it back on the engine and then remove the fuel line going into the carburetor and replace that with a brand new fuel filter and some brand new fuel lines as well, just because they did look a little outdated. So we'll remove just the old one just by pulling it from the fuel pump line. And this is what it looks like. And then I'm just going to replace it with this. It has all brand new fuel lines and a brand new fuel filter. And we're just going to stick it back onto the engine. So now we're ready to install the carb back onto the engine. What we're going to do is just the reverse steps that we did to take the carburetor off in the first place. Now I did make a YouTube short on me installing this carburetor, so just go down in the description down below and check out that video if you want to hear me talking about it. Otherwise, I'm going to just play some music and install this carb on it and just get it done with. Once everything is installed, you just want to test it, make sure that the throttle is going all the way open, so the butterfly actually opens all the way. You can see here I actually push up on it just to see if they can get any more max, but it's completely maxed out. And then the same thing when you come all the way down, you push down, it's maxed all the way down, so you know the butterfly's closed. Now that we've gone through the whole fuel system, what we're going to do is drop the lower unit and do the water pump. So now that we're about to do the water pump change on this motor, the first thing we're going to have to do is go to the shift linkage. And as you can see here, there's this black piece that's called the stopper. And then the top nut is called the jam nut. And then the center nut is called the coupler nut. Now on this one, what you have to do is hold the jam nut and break the coupler nut loose. And as you can see right here, you won't be able to drop the lower unit because the coupler nut will be blocking it. So you actually have to remove the coupler nut completely. And after that, you're just going to remove these two bolts on each side, so 4 in total, and the lower unit will drop. So let's drop the lower unit and let's get this done. Once again, I do have a separate video of me doing the water pump, so just drop down in the description and check that out for that video if you want to hear me talking about it. And once we get the lower unit off, we can remove the housing and do a water pump change on this motor. Once everything's installed back on the engine, you just want to check if the engine does shift. So right now I am in neutral. I'm going to shift it into forward, and it shifts really smoothly. And it locks into forward gear as it's supposed to. And then I can shift it back into neutral, and it spins freely. And I can reverse it into reverse by spinning the prop shaft at the same time, and it locks into reverse. And then back into neutral. Now we're able to just do some general maintenance to finish up this engine. So after doing all the general maintenance, we got the engine in the tank. We're just going to prime it up, and we're going to fire this engine up and then just do some tuning if it needs be. So the engine actually doesn't sound too bad. We're just going to let it keep running for a little bit and just see what it does. If we need to keep tuning it, but I don't think we're going to need to. It does sound pretty solid right here, and it does shift into forward and reverse pretty nicely. So let's just let it keep running and see if it stalls out or anything, and we'll come back if it doesn't. So that's going to wrap up this video. This engine is very mechanically sound now, and I did just detail it. It turned out looking really good. It has a really good shine to it. Got all that dirt off the cowling. If you guys have been enjoying the videos, please smash the like button down below, as it does help me a lot. And please subscribe so you don't miss any further content in the future. Without that being said, guys, this is going to be the end of the video, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope this helped you a lot. I'll see you guys in the next one.